Hello fellow wine class students. My name's Kevin Berger. I'm here to talk to you about the science behind trellising. So the science behind trellising is fairly basic. You have three major components that you want to think about. You want to think about leaf density and also the spacing between the rows and north-south orientation. So you want thin vines, only about 2 layers of leaves, partially exposed fruit, and I'll explain this a little bit more later. So the north-south orientation is to track the path of the sun as it goes over the vines, so you get the maximum exposure to light. Along with this, you need proper vine height and spacing so that you don't have super tall vines shading the next vine over, which will cause problems with fruit harvesting. The fruit will taste kind of funk, maybe a little grassy. It won't develop all the good flavor compounds and anthocyanins, the color. Also, if you have vines planted on a flat area, you might want the spacing to be of a certain width so that you can get a machine harvester in there, and this will save some money and some time. Okay, so you can see this guy has big problems. He had a flood, and so he wasn't able to get in there and trim during the rains, and so he had a lot of excess vegetative growth. So his wines will probably have more grassy flavors as the fruit is less exposed to the sunlight, and the plant is putting more energy into the leaves and the fruits. They won't develop all those good anthocyanins and flavor compounds. Here's an example of a properly maintained vine. You see there's not very many layers, just about 2 on each side, and there's exposed fruit. This is going to produce a much better quality grape, which will produce a much better quality wine. So here's a diagram of row height and spacing. As you can see, it's 6 feet high. Sometimes vineyardists or the people growing, they're not going to plant it 6 feet high. They'll probably grow it a little less so that the optimal 8 hours 12 minutes will be achievable with a row spacing of about 6 feet in between. This is also good because machine harvesters can get in there, and it allows easier harvesting of the grapes than by hand. It's usually slightly cheaper too. So here's a little animation of what happens to the grape when sunlight hits the fruit. So this is a strawberry, obviously, but you want a bit of sunlight to come in and hit that fruit, so it changes most of the chlorophylls, the grassy flavors and such, into things like anthocyanins and flavor compounds. Because obviously a green grape, or a grape that hasn't matured, or green strawberry is what I meant to say, won't taste as good as one of these beautiful bright red ripe strawberries.